I'm Paula Hirsch, and this is a County News Minute. We're here today at the American Revolution Museum at Yorktown, one of the premier attractions of York County. And with me today is Homer Lanier, Program Interpretive Manager for the museum. Thank you for hosting us in this gorgeous place. Let's start with a little history about the History Museum.
Well, the American Revolution Museum at Yorktown is a brand new facility that's replacing a facility from 1976 that dates back to the bicentennial. You'll remember in 1981 when then President Reagan and French President Francois Mitterrand were at Yorktown Battlefield to commemorate our nation's victory here at Yorktown in October of 1781. Well, our Yorktown Victory Center served us well for many, many years. It finally just came a time with aging facilities, aging HVAC systems, and aging electrical systems, there was time to build a new facility which would take us well into the 21st century. Thus was born the American Revolution Museum at Yorktown. And this actually started as a master plan with our board in 2007. Now, some will say it's taken as long to get this project done as it did for General Washington to win the Revolution. But we weren't in a hurry. We wanted to do things right from the very beginning. And we think we've got something here that everybody in the Commonwealth of Virginia can be very proud of.
Homer, as you said, the museum's gone through a wonderful transformation. Walk us through some of the highlights.
Well, whereas the Yorktown Victory Center from the past was more like a welcome center and a parking hub for the bicentennial, we wanted a up-to-date, world-class, interactive museum that would take us well into the 21st century. We're very excited about our new facilities here at Yorktown.
Bring only your weapons and ammunition.
It's going to help us to tell the story of the entire American Revolution, not just Yorktown. Now don't worry, Yorktown's a key part of that story, but we'll start with the earliest grumblings of independence when the rebels were starting to think about breaking away from England. So we'll tell that story from those first grumblings, those first shots at Lexington and Concord, all the way through becoming a new nation as we were trying to figure out how to govern ourselves after we won our independence. It starts with the British Empire in North America. When you first enter our museum galleries, we kind of set the stage for what British North America was like, where those colonies were located, what the populations were like. We've used computer interactives along the way so that anyone coming in of any age can go to one of our touch screens and dissect the 13 colonies. What was the population base like? What was the slave population like? What was the commerce like? Imports, exports in and out of these colonies. Wonderful artifacts help us to tell the story as well.
It is the summer of 1754.
Dispersed throughout the galleries are a number of short films. Great places to sit down, take a load off your feet for a few minutes if you're bringing the kids or the grandkids along with you. But we've strategically located small theaters throughout the gallery to help us tell the story of the American Revolution. So we go from the British Empire section at the beginning of the galleries with that wonderful 8-foot tall portrait of King George III in his coronation robes when we were all loyal British subjects. Then we transition into the change in relationships section of the gallery where we start to explore those first grumblings of independence. What were the causes? What was driving people to want to separate and pull away from Great Britain and become free and independent states here in the colonies? As we move into the largest section of the gallery, it's actually about the Revolution itself. Our guests, our visitors have been telling us for a long time as they've been visiting our museum over the years, they wanted more about the battles of the American Revolution. They want more about the people who did the real living and dying, the ones who were left back home and the ones who were on the front lines. So the Revolution section of the galleries here helps us to tell that story. Period artifacts, recreated uniforms, dioramas, and then, once again, interactive areas.
The women of America supported the Patriot cause.
We have 21 personal stories in their own words loaded into an 80-inch touchscreen monitor that you can select people from all different backgrounds who were living during the time of the Revolution, and they will tell you about their experiences throughout that time of unpleasantness.
Homer, you mentioned the theaters in the museum, and of course when you first come in there's this new introductory film that everybody's talking about. It's called Liberty Fever. What's new about that?
Well, Liberty Fever is an interesting film because it's set 40 years after the American Revolution had ended. A storyteller has traveled around the United States gathering personal stories from individuals who lived during the time of the American Revolution and their experiences. The unique thing is it traces 5 individuals, their stories. You'll see those stories and those individuals, their stories interwoven here through the galleries from start to finish.
How this army holds together.
Siege Theater is one of our pride and joys. It talks about and tells the story of the Siege of Yorktown. It's about a 70-seat theater, but it's sort of a 4D experiential theater. You're going to feel like you were in the trenches at Yorktown in September and October of 1781. It's a 180-degree screen. When you come in and take your seat, when the film first opens, it's General Washington and General Rochambeau debating about where to try and trap the British Army and the British Navy. When you're sitting in the theater enjoying the film, 180-degree screen, so it's all around you. So when you're in the seats and the artillery is thundering away on Cornwallis's positions in the town of York, you're going to feel the earth moving underneath you as the cannons thunder away. As the dirt is flying and the muskets are going off and the cannons are firing away, battlefield smoke will come across the theater as well. So the sights, the smells, and the sounds of the Siege of Yorktown will envelop you for a unique experience, without a doubt.
So Homer, as the interpretive manager of the museum, I know that near and dear to your heart and one of the premier spots in the museum, the living history.
What sets us apart from other museums around the country is the added bonus of our outdoor living history areas, where we can actually bring history alive. Our new Continental Army encampment, which will be 300% larger than the old encampment. Our new Revolutionary War era farm has a wonderful new space as well, out with wonderful new soil and wonderful sunshine as well. These living history areas are where our visitors can go outside, enlist in General Washington's Army, pick up your wooden training musket, fall in the ranks, and get your first lessons of being a Continental soldier. Our guests, our visitors, can take things at their own pace. Start inside, go outdoors whenever you want to, come back in and see some more. We like to recommend our visitors take about 3 hours to visit the museum with us, but we know they won't get everything done, both indoors and outdoors, in that 3 hours. We want folks to come back to Yorktown to soak up more and more of our history.
I came to see where our great revolution ended.
Throughout the year, we have a number of special exhibits and special events planned. Our first special exhibition will open in June of this year, entitled Afterwards, where we'll trace the lives of 4 veterans of the American Revolution and see the twists and turns that their lives took and what it meant to the development of our new nation. In July, we'll celebrate our independence on July 4th, including some wonderful fireworks in the evening in the town of York. Of course, in October, we commemorate the surrender of Yorktown on the 19th. Beyond that, as we get to November, around Thanksgiving time, we have Foods and Feast in Colonial Virginia here at the museums, where we explore the harvest time of the year. We'll be butchering, we'll be preserving foodstuffs for the coming winter.
And what was in those ships all three?
And by the time we get to the end of December, it's Christmas here in Yorktown, and we'll have lots of different activities planned, not only here at the museum, but all throughout the town of York to bring Christmas cheer to all. And a reminder, the American Revolution Museum at Yorktown is free to York County residents, as well as James City County and City of Williamsburg residents. So come and visit us here at the new museum.
Go on, explore, and most importantly, have fun.
Homer, thank you again so much for hosting us in this magnificent facility.
It was our pleasure. It's great to have you with us today.
And if you haven't been here lately, I promise you're in for a real treat. To find out more about how you can enjoy the American Revolution Museum at Yorktown, please go to historyisfun.org. They have information about hours, admission, and don't forget, York County residents get in free. Thanks for watching this edition of County News Minute.